Could you last until old age in the distant year 1350? Would you know the secret remedies, the forgotten ingredients that medieval folk believed held the keys to a longer life, to fending off the dreaded Black Death and other daily threats? What if the answers were not hidden in magic potions, but in the very foods that graced their tables, in the ingredients that filled their kitchen larders? Number 7. Wine. The clinking of pewter cups echoed through the draughty great halls, a familiar sound from the highest lord's feast to the humblest peasant's meal. Wine, not just a drink of merriment, held a place of immense importance in medieval society, far beyond mere refreshment. It was a staple often consumed in quantities that might surprise us today. Not just for its taste, but for a profound set of beliefs tied to health, and yes, even the elusive concept of a longer life. From the moment the grapes were pressed, a sense of purposeful alchemy surrounded this amber or ruby liquid. Think of the medieval mind, grappling with a world where illness struck swiftly and without warning, where life was often brutish and short. They sought answers, explanations, and defenses in everything around them. And wine, with its get nature from fruit to fermented beverage, seemed to hold a special power. It was seen as more than just fermented grape juice. It was a potent elixir, a purifier, a source of vitality. Ancient medical traditions passed down through the centuries from figures like Hippocrates and Galen heavily influenced medieval thought. These revered authorities often spoke of wine as a medicinal agent, a tool in the physician's arsenal. They classified it by its warmth and dryness, its ability to influence the delicate balance of the body's humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. A healthy body, it was believed, depended on these humors being in perfect equilibrium. Wine, depending on its type and preparation, could be a key player in maintaining or restoring this balance. The everyday wine, often thin and watered down, was considered safer to drink than the often contaminated well water or stagnant river water. Found in many towns and villages, the fermentation process itself was known to kill off impurities, a practical observation that lent itself to the belief in wine's inherent purity. So, while it quenched thirst, it also offered a perceived layer of protection against the unseen dangers lurking in common water sources. This practical benefit was intertwined with its perceived medicinal properties. A master of the household would ensure barrels of wine were always at hand, not just for feasts, but for daily consumption by everyone, from the youngest child to the oldest elder. Children were often given watered-down wine, a practice that highlights its status as a fundamental and supposedly safe part of the diet. For those of higher status, wine was an even more refined and versatile tool. Spiced wines, known as hippocras or clary, were particularly prized. These concoctions involved steeping various aromatic spices, cinnamon, ginger, cloves, grains of paradise, nutmeg in wine, often sweetened with honey or sugar. The spices were not just for flavor. They were chosen for their own perceived medicinal qualities, believed to warm the body, aid digestion, and generally fortify the system. Drinking spiced wine after a heavy meal was a common practice, thought to help the stomach process the rich foods and prevent indigestion, a condition often linked to an imbalance of humors. A well-made hippocras was an embodiment of comfort and health, a beverage savored not only for its delightful aroma, but for the subtle sense of well-being. It was believed to impart. Recipes for these spiced wines were meticulously recorded in medieval cookbooks and medical treatises, evidence of their significant role in the daily pursuit of health. Monastic communities, often centers of learning and healing, maintained extensive vineyards. Monks, sworn to austere lives, still embraced wine as a necessary part of their diet and a vital medicinal substance. They used it to wash wounds, believing in its antiseptic properties, and administered it to the sick and infirm, often mixed with herbs or other restorative ingredients. A monk tending to the abbey's herb garden might also be responsible for the wine cellar, seeing both as essential components of the spiritual and physical well-being of the community. Records from monastic infirmaries detail the specific types of wine used for various ailments, testament to their deep understanding of its applications within the framework of medieval medicine. Wine was also employed as a vehicle for other medicinal substances. Herbs, roots, and sometimes even precious stones were steeped in wine to create tinctures and elixirs, believed to extract the beneficial properties of these ingredients and deliver them effectively throughout the body. A physician might prescribe a specific wine infused with mugwort for digestive issues, or a wine blended with rose petals for calming the spirit. The process of preparing these medicated wines was careful and deliberate, often involving specific astrological timing or phases of the moon, adding a layer of mystical significance to their potency. The belief was that the wine, being already a potent force, would enhance the power of the added ingredients, creating a compound even more effective in its healing or health-preserving capacities. The color of wine itself carried significance. Red wines were often associated with blood, believed to invigorate the circulatory system and perhaps even generate new healthy blood within the body. White wines, meanwhile, were sometimes thought to have a more cleansing or cooling effect. These classifications were rooted in the humoral theory, where everything was categorized by its hot or cold, wet or dry properties. Wine was generally considered warming, but the specific type could alter its perceived effect on the body's internal climate. A person suffering from a cold illness might be prescribed a rich, warming red wine, while someone afflicted by a hot fever might be given a more diluted or less potent variety. Beyond its physical applications, wine also played a role in the social and psychological aspects of medieval life. Shared at communal meals, it fostered camaraderie and alleviated the stresses of a hard existence. In a time when entertainment was scarce and daily life often harsh, the mild euphoria induced by wine might have been seen as a therapeutic balm for the spirit. A joyful heart, it was often said, was a good medicine, and wine certainly contributed to moments of joy and relaxation. This link between mental well-being and physical health was implicitly understood, even if not articulated in modern psychological terms. The daily ritual of sharing a cup of wine became more than just a custom. It was a deeply ingrained part of the pursuit of a balanced and, hopefully, long life. The continued presence of wine in daily meals and celebrations throughout the medieval period, the enduring belief in its power to promote not just immediate health, but a sustained sense of vitality that could ward off the encroachments of illness and age, contributing to a longer, more robust existence in a world where every advantage counted. Number 6. Honey. The golden liquid spun from the diligent work of bees was far more than just a sweet treat in medieval times. Honey was a treasure, a natural wonder imbued with properties that medieval minds saw as nothing short of miraculous. It was a sweetener, yes, but also a medicine, a preservative, and a symbol of purity and divine favor. Its perceived ability to last almost indefinitely without spoiling lent it an almost mystical quality, hinting at its power to extend life, or at least to contribute to a prolonged state of health and vitality. This golden nectar was woven into nearly every aspect of medieval life, from the lowliest kitchen to the most scholarly medical text, holding a vital place in the medieval understanding of longevity. Before the widespread availability of sugar, honey was the primary sweetener across Europe. Its natural sweetness made bitter medicines palatable and transformed bland dishes into delights. But its role went far beyond flavor. Medieval physicians and herbalists, drawing heavily from the works of ancient Greek and Roman scholars like Dioscorides and Pliny the Elder, attributed numerous healing powers to honey. It was considered warm and dry, a perfect balance for many ailments, and a way to adjust the humors within the body. Its sticky texture and natural antibacterial properties were observed and utilized even if the precise scientific reasons were unknown. A common remedy for wounds involved spreading honey over cuts and sores, believing it would cleanse the injury and promote healing. This direct application was a testament to the observed power of honey to prevent infection and speed recovery, thus contributing to a longer, healthier life by fending off dangerous complications. Honey was also a cornerstone of medieval pharmacy. Electuaries, a type of medicinal paste or jam, were commonly made by mixing powdered herbs and spices with honey. These preparations were easy to administer and preserve, and the honey itself was thought to enhance the medicinal properties of the herbs. For instance, an electuary for coughs might contain honey mixed with licorice and marshmallow root, believed to soothe the throat and clear congestion. Such remedies were not just for immediate relief. They were part of a broader regimen aimed at maintaining good health and preventing illness from taking hold, thereby contributing to a sustained sense of well-being over time. The careful creation of these compounds in monastic infirmaries and apothecaries speaks to the deep trust placed in honey's ability to act as a potent vehicle for health-giving substances. Beyond its direct application, honey was also valued for its role in digestion. Many medieval meals were heavy laden with rich meats and coarse grains. Honey, often consumed after a meal or incorporated into digestive aids, was thought to help break down food and prevent stagnation, which was often linked to illness and imbalance of humors. Mead, an alcoholic beverage made from fermented honey and water, was another popular way to consume honey, especially in colder regions. Mead was not only a celebratory drink, but also considered a warming and invigorating tonic, providing energy and supposedly aiding digestion. The warmth it imparted was believed to strengthen the stomach and help the body better absorb nutrients, contributing to robust health over a lifespan. The perceived purity and long shelf life of honey contributed significantly to its reputation as a life-extending food. It was believed to resist decay, mirroring the aspiration for the body to resist the decay of time and disease. This inherent preservative quality was utilized in a practical sense too. Honey was sometimes used to preserve other perishable foods, acting as a natural antimicrobial agent. Preserved fruits and nuts coated in honey were not only delicious, but also held the promise of lasting. Through lean times providing sustenance when fresh food was scarce, this practical longevity of the food itself underscored its symbolic connection to human longevity. Monasteries, often self-sufficient communities, maintained apiaries. Recognizing the immense value of honey for both sustenance and medicine, the monks dedicated to health and healing meticulously collected and processed honey, using it in a myriad of ways, from medicinal preparations to illuminating manuscripts with beeswax. The act of gathering honey was often seen as a virtuous task, connecting the monks to the natural world and its divine bounty. The care and respect given to bees and their products further elevated honey's status, reinforcing its reputation as a sacred and health-giving substance. Honey was also considered an excellent food for the sick and infirm. Its easily digestible nature and natural sweetness made it a gentle and nourishing sustenance for those with weakened constitutions. Broths and gruels for invalids were often sweetened with honey, providing much-needed energy and comfort. For individuals recovering from illness, honey was believed to aid in restoring strength and vitality, helping them regain their health and continue their lives. This restorative power was a crucial element in its association with longevity. By helping people recover more quickly and completely from illness, honey was perceived as directly contributing to a longer and more active life. Furthermore, honey's connection to herbs was profound. Beekeepers would often place their hives near specific flowering plants, known for their medicinal properties, believing that the bees would gather nectar from these plants, thus imbuing the honey with added therapeutic benefits. For example, honey gathered from heather or thyme blossoms was thought to have distinct medicinal qualities. This natural synergy between honey and medicinal plants reinforced its reputation as a potent health food, a concentrated essence of nature's healing power. The very idea that consuming honey could draw the vital essence of beneficial plants into the body made it a powerful symbol of continuous well-being. The consistent presence of honey in medieval diets, medical texts, and household remedies speaks volumes about the deep-seated belief in its capacity to nourish the body, heal ailments, and in doing so, help pave the way for a longer, healthier existence. Number 5. Garlic. The pungent aroma of garlic, unmistakable and assertive, wafted through medieval kitchens and clung to the breath of many a commoner. While it might cause some to recoil today, in medieval times, garlic was not merely a culinary ingredient. It was a potent force, a bulwark against disease, and a harbinger of health and strength. Its strong flavor was matched by an equally strong reputation for warding off evils both seen and unseen, and for imparting a robust vitality that was considered essential for a long and productive life. From the peasant's humble stew to the herbalist's precise remedy, garlic held a celebrated, almost mythical status. Medieval medical theory, heavily influenced by the principles of humoral medicine, classified garlic as intensely hot and dry. These properties made it a formidable ally against conditions believed to be caused by an excess of cold or dampness in the body. Illnesses such as colds, fevers, and even some parasitic infections were often attributed to these imbalances, and garlic, with its warming and drying nature, was thought to restore equilibrium. Eating garlic was a common practice, particularly in winter months, to warm the stomach and protect against the chills that could lead to sickness. A strong, healthy stomach was considered the foundation of good health, and garlic was seen as a key player in maintaining its vigor. For the vast majority of the population, garlic was a readily available and affordable source of perceived health benefits. Unlike expensive spices imported from distant lands, garlic could be grown in any garden, making it a poor man's medicine that was accessible to everyone. This widespread availability contributed to its ubiquitous presence in the daily diet. A simple pottage or stew forming the core of many medieval meals would often include generous amounts of garlic, providing not just flavor, but also a daily dose of its protective properties. The belief was that consistent consumption built up a natural resistance within the body, making it less susceptible to the widespread illnesses that plagued medieval communities. Beyond its role in general health, garlic was particularly valued for its purported ability to ward off infectious diseases. During outbreaks of plague and other devastating epidemics, garlic was consumed in vast quantities, rubbed on the skin, and even hung in doorways in a desperate attempt to create a barrier against the unseen miasma of disease. Though we understand the true causes of plague differently today, the unwavering faith in garlic's protective powers provided a sense of agency and hope. In times of profound despair, people might chew raw cloves or even wear them around their necks, convinced that the strong odor and inherent properties of garlic would deter the very air of sickness. This strong belief in its power to defend against pestilence directly linked garlic to the possibility of surviving devastating outbreaks and thereby extending one's life. Garlic was also used as a powerful vermifuge, believed to expel intestinal worms, a common affliction in medieval times. Its strong antiemetic properties were observed, even if not scientifically explained, leading to its frequent use in remedies aimed at cleansing the internal system. Recipes for medieval apothecaries and herbalists often included garlic for such purposes, either eaten raw or infused in other liquids. A clean and healthy digestive tract was considered crucial for nutrient absorption and overall vitality, making garlic an important tool in maintaining the internal cleanliness necessary for a robust and enduring life. Furthermore, garlic was thought to be beneficial for the circulatory system. The medieval understanding of blood circulation was rudimentary. It was believed to thin the blood and improve its flow, an idea that aligns loosely with some modern observations, though for entirely different reasons. This belief led to its use in conditions associated with stagnation or poor circulation. Consuming garlic was seen as a way to keep the internal fluids moving freely, preventing blockages that could lead to illness or debilitation. A body with freely flowing humors was a body poised for health and longevity. The strength and resilience of garlic plants themselves, often thriving in harsh conditions, may have contributed to the belief that consuming them would impart similar qualities to the human body. The strong, assertive nature of the plant mirrored the strength and vitality it was believed to bestow. It was a food for the robust, the hardy, those who toiled in the fields and endured the rigors of daily life. For a peasant facing a lifetime of physical labor, garlic was a daily reinforcement, a source of perceived enduring energy. Even though its taste might be off-putting to some, garlic was also sometimes incorporated into poultices and compresses for external ailments. Crushed garlic, mixed with other ingredients, was applied to skin infections, boils, and even aching joints believed to draw out impurities and alleviate pain. This dual use, both internal and external, cemented its reputation as a versatile and powerful medicinal plant. The simple act of tending to one's health with such a readily available and seemingly potent plant became a deeply ingrained practice. The sheer pervasiveness of garlic in medieval remedies and daily diets spout the unwavering faith placed in its ability to not only treat illness, but also to fortify the body against its insidious effects, thereby contributing directly to a longer, more resilient. Number 4. Almonds. In the bustling markets and quiet monastic gardens of medieval Europe, among the grains and the herbs, lay the unassuming almond, a nut revered not just for its delicate flavor, but for its extraordinary medicinal and nutritional properties. Far more than a mere snack, almonds were considered a pillar of healthy eating, especially prized for their gentleness on the digestion and their perceived ability to nourish the body, including the brain. This tender nut was believed to contribute to a prolonged and vigorous life, particularly for those recovering from illness or seeking to maintain their delicate humoral balance. The almond held a special place in the medieval understanding of longevity, offering nourishment without distress. Medieval physicians and dietitians, drawing from ancient wisdom, regarded almonds as warm and moist foods, a classification that made them valuable in balancing the body's humors. They were considered easy to digest, a crucial quality in a time when many foods were heavy and often caused indigestion. This digestibility made them especially suitable for the sick, the elderly, and children whose systems were believed to be more delicate. Instead of burdening the stomach, almonds were thought to soothe and nourish, providing sustenance without causing discomfort. This gentle yet potent nature made them a go-to food for those striving for continued health and a steady recovery from illness, thus contributing to an extended lifespan. One of the most significant uses of almonds was in the creation of almond milk. This milky liquid, made by grinding blanched almonds with water and then straining the mixture, was a staple in medieval cuisine, particularly during Lent and other fast days when animal milk was forbidden. Almond milk was highly valued as a restorative drink for the sick and convalescent. It was considered highly nourishing, easy to assimilate, and soothing to the digestive tract. Often it was thickened with rice flour or breadcrumbs to create a blancmange, a delicate, often spiced dish served to invalids. The widespread use of almond milk in sick rooms deposed the deep belief in its power to restore strength and aid recovery, directly impacting the ability of individuals to regain health and prolong their lives. Almonds were also highly regarded for their perceived benefits to the brain and nervous system. Medieval thinkers believed that foods had a direct impact on the mind and temperament. Almonds, with their subtle sweetness and rich oil content, were thought to soothe the nerves, improve memory, and promote a clear intellect. Scholars and those engaged in intellectual pursuits might consume almonds to sharpen their minds, believing it would aid their studies and keep their mental faculties keen into old age. This focus on mental vitality was an important component of a holistic view of longevity, extending beyond mere physical survival to a full and active life. The oil extracted from almonds was also a valuable commodity. Almond oil was used both internally and externally. Taken internally, it was believed to soften the internal organs, aid digestion, and lubricate the intestines, preventing constipation, a common and often debilitating issue. Applied externally, it was used as a soothing balm for skin conditions, chapped hands, and even for easing muscle aches. This dual application, both as a food and a topical remedy, highlighted the versatility and perceived potency of the almond and contributing to overall well-being and mitigating the discomforts that could shorten life. In the elaborate feasts of the nobility, almonds appeared in numerous forms, ground into pastes for pies and tarts, slivered over roasted meats, or candied as sweet treats. Their versatility allowed them to be incorporated into many dishes, ensuring that their beneficial properties could be consumed regularly. The rich texture of almond meal was also used to thicken sauces and soups, adding nutritional density and a pleasing mouthfeel. The consistent presence of almonds in both everyday cooking and elaborate banquets shows how deeply they were integrated into the medieval diet, reflecting a widespread understanding of their health-promoting qualities. Recipes from medieval cookbooks, such as the Forme of Cury from England or Le Viandier from France, frequently call for almonds. These texts, compiled for royal courts and wealthy households, underscored the high esteem in which almonds were held. They were not merely fillers. They were active ingredients chosen for their taste, texture, and, crucially, their perceived health benefits. The knowledge of their properties was passed down through generations, enshrined in culinary and medical wisdom. The ability of almonds to combine easily with other beneficial ingredients such as honey, spices, and dried fruits further amplified their appeal. An almond and honey confection was not just a delightful dessert. It was a small powerhouse of nourishment, believed to provide sustained energy and warmth. These combinations were often prescribed for weakness, or for those needing to build up their strength. The gentle yet fortifying nature of almonds made them an ideal food for supporting the body through the challenges of life, from childhood growth to the frailties of old age. The consistent and deliberate inclusion of almonds in the medieval diet, particularly for those needing special care or seeking to maintain peak condition, speaks volumes about the enduring belief in their quiet power to nurture the body and extend the years of a healthy, active life. Number 3. Pomegranates. Gleaming with ruby-red arils, the pomegranate arrived in medieval Europe, carrying a long and rich history of symbolic and medicinal importance. It was not just a fruit. It was a potent symbol of life, fertility, and renewal, deeply rooted in ancient traditions and enthusiastically embraced by medieval physicians and cooks. Its distinct qualities were thought to have a profound impact on health, particularly in cleansing the body, strengthening vital organs, and balancing the humors. For medieval people seeking to ward off illness and maintain a robust constitution, the pomegranate was a true gem believed to contribute directly to a longer, more vibrant existence. Medieval medical theories, inherited from Persian and Arabic scholars like Avicenna, alongside Greek masters like Galen, classified pomegranates as cold and moist. These properties made them highly valuable for balancing conditions, thought to be hot or dry, such as fevers, inflammations, and excessive bile. A person suffering from a fever, for instance, might be given pomegranate juice to cool the body and alleviate symptoms. This precise application, based on the humoral framework, highlighted the fruit's targeted medicinal action. The careful choice of foods to counteract specific imbalances was central to medieval health philosophy, and the pomegranate held a unique place in the system. One of the most celebrated perceived benefits of the pomegranate was its supposed ability to cleanse the blood and strengthen the heart. The vibrant red color of its juice naturally led to an association with blood, and it was believed to purify and invigorate the circulatory system. For those suffering from general debility or weakness, pomegranate was often prescribed as a tonic to restore vitality. Its astringent qualities, particularly from the rind and seeds, were also employed to stop bleeding and tighten tissues. These properties, whether for internal cleansing or direct physiological support, were seen as fundamental to maintaining a strong and healthy body, one that could endure the passage of time. Pomegranate juice was a highly valued commodity, often consumed on its own as a refreshing and medicinal drink, or used as an ingredient in various dishes. It was particularly sought after during the warmer months, when its cooling properties were most appreciated. For individuals with sensitive stomachs or digestive issues, the juice was considered easier to tolerate than the whole fruit while still delivering its beneficial qualities. The fruit's tartness also made it a useful addition to sauces and marinades, adding a bright counterpoint to rich meats and helping, it was believed, to aid in their digestion. The rind of the pomegranate, often discarded today, was highly valued in medieval medicine. Dried and powdered, it was used as an astringent, particularly for treating diarrhea and dysentery. Its strong tanning properties were recognized for their ability to dry out and firm up loose bodily humors. This practical application of every part of the fruit underscored its holistic value in medieval health practices. Nothing was wasted if it held potential for healing or prolonging life. Herbalists and apothecaries would meticulously prepare these remedies, relying on centuries of accumulated knowledge about the specific uses of each component of the pomegranate. Beyond its medicinal applications, the pomegranate held profound symbolic meaning. Its many seeds enclosed within a single fruit represented unity, abundance, and fertility. This symbolism extended to its perceived ability to foster life and vitality. In art and literature, the pomegranate frequently appeared as an emblem of resurrection and eternal life. While these were symbolic representations, they reinforced the cultural belief in the fruit's inherent life-giving properties. The consumption of such a symbolically powerful food was believed to imbue the eater with some of its inherent life force, contributing to a sense of rejuvenation and longevity. Pomegranates were often cultivated in monastic gardens alongside other medicinal plants. Monks, who were often the primary condivers and scholars of herbal medicine, would carefully tend to these trees, understanding their significance for both food and healing. The fruit would be harvested and processed, its juice extracted and its rind dried for future medicinal use. This careful cultivation and processing speak to the deliberate and thoughtful approach medieval people took towards the foods they believed held the keys to health and a longer life, even for those of modest means. The pomegranate, though sometimes a luxury, was recognized as a valuable addition to the diet when available. Its presence at noble banquets, often as a garnish or in a sweet and sour sauce, was not merely for aesthetic appeal. It was an intentional inclusion, adding not only flavor but also the perceived health benefits that were so highly prized. The belief in the pomegranate's power to cleanse, strengthen, and balance made it a cornerstone in the medieval pursuit of a vibrant and enduring existence. A fruit that truly embodied the aspiration for a long and healthy life. Number 2. Olive oil. In the sun-drenched lands bordering the Mediterranean and increasingly across other parts of medieval Europe, a liquid gold flowed from the ancient olive tree. Olive oil. This precious commodity was far more than a simple cooking fat. It was a symbol of peace, purity, and, crucially, a powerful agent of health and longevity. Its smooth texture and rich flavor were only part of its appeal. Medieval minds, deeply influenced by classical medical traditions, understood olive oil as a warming, moistening substance. Its importance permeated daily life from the kitchen to the sick room, firmly linking it to the pursuit of a long and healthy existence. Medieval humoral theory classified olive oil as hot and moist. These qualities made it highly beneficial for counteracting conditions associated with dryness or coldness in the body, such as chapped skin, stiff joints, or a dry cough. It was seen as a restorative and nourishing substance, particularly good for those with dry or melancholic constitutions, or for the elderly whose bodies were thought to become progressively drier with age. Consuming olive oil was believed to help maintain the body's internal moisture, ensuring flexibility of the joints and softness of the skin. Outward signs of youthfulness and internal health. Olive oil was a fundamental cooking medium, especially in southern European regions, where olives thrived. It was used in stews, sautéed vegetables, and to dress salads. Beyond its culinary use, it was valued for its ease of digestion compared to animal fats. A well-oiled stomach was considered a happy stomach, and olive oil was thought to aid the process of breaking down food and absorbing nutrients. For individuals with sensitive digestive systems, olive oil was often preferred, as it was believed to soothe the stomach and intestines, preventing irritation and promoting smooth. This ease of digestion was a key element in its role in longevity, as a healthy gut was seen as foundational to overall well-being. The external applications of olive oil were as widespread as its internal uses. It was a common ingredient in medieval cosmetics and takeoak. Applied to the skin, it was believed to keep it soft, supple, and to ward off the dryness that could lead to premature aging. For those suffering from muscle aches, bruises, or stiff joints, olive oil was often warmed and massaged into the affected areas, sometimes infused with medicinal herbs, acting as a soothing balm. It was also used to lubricate the hands of surgeons and barbers during procedures, highlighting its practical utility in preventing friction and promoting healing. The pervasive use of olive oil for skin and body care bears the medieval belief that nurturing the outer body reflected and supported internal health, ultimately contributing to a longer, more comfortable life. Monasteries and apothecaries frequently used olive oil as a base for various medicinal preparations. Herbs, spices, and sometimes even aromatic resins were steeped in olive oil to create infused oils for both internal and external use. An oil infused with chamomile might be used to soothe an inflamed stomach, while an oil infused with rosemary might be rubbed on aching limbs. These preparations were carefully crafted, often left to infuse for weeks in the sun to maximize the extraction of the herb's beneficial properties. The stability of olive oil made it an excellent vehicle for preserving these medicinal extracts, ensuring their potency over time. Olive oil was also considered invaluable for lamps providing light in homes and churches. The pure, clean flame of an olive oil lamp was not just practical, it carried symbolic weight, often linked to spiritual illumination and purity. While this wasn't directly related to physical longevity, the pervasive presence of olive oil in daily life, both materially and symbolically, reinforced its perceived inherent goodness and beneficial nature. It was a substance associated with life, warmth, and sustenance. For infants and the very old, olive oil was often gently introduced into the diet. For newborns, a drop might be given to help their digestion. For the elderly, it was added to gruels and broths to provide easily assimilated nourishment and lubrication for their internal systems. This thoughtful application across the lifespan from its very beginning to its twilight years illustrates the deep confidence medieval people placed in olive oil's ability to support and sustain life. It was a versatile staple, not just for the robust and healthy, but especially for the vulnerable, offering them a gentle yet potent means of maintaining their vitality. The consistent and deliberate inclusion of olive oil in medieval diets and healing practices, particularly for those seeking to maintain a youthful suppleness and internal balance, speaks volumes about the enduring belief in its quiet power to nourish the body and extend the years of a healthy, active life. Number 1. Ginger. The fiery bite of ginger, a spice that journeyed from distant lands, captured the imagination and the palates of medieval Europeans. Far more than a mere culinary accent, ginger was a powerhouse of warmth and vitality, celebrated for its intense properties and its profound impact on health and longevity. It was a spice that promised to invigorate the body, banish cold, aid digestion, and thereby fortify an individual against the numerous ailments that could shorten life. From the highest banquets to the most humble herbal remedies, ginger held a prized and potent position in the medieval pursuit of a long and robust existence. Medieval medical theories, deeply influenced by the humoral system derived from ancient Greek, Roman, and Arabic texts, classified ginger as profoundly hot and dry. These properties made it an indispensable tool for countering conditions believed to be caused by an excess of cold or dampness in the body. Colds, coughs, chills, and even some forms of digestive sluggishness were often attributed to these imbalances. And ginger, with its inherent warmth, was seen as the perfect antidote. Consuming ginger, whether raw, powdered, or preserved, was believed to ignite the body's internal fire, stimulating circulation and expelling cold humors. This warming effect was crucial in an era where effective heating was often scarce, making ginger a vital internal shield against the pervasive cold of winter. One of ginger's most celebrated applications was its purported ability to aid digestion. Medieval meals could be heavy, often consisting of rich meats and starchy grains. Ginger was frequently consumed after meals, either in spiced wines like Hippocras, or as a candied confection known as gingerbread, or ginger conserves. It was believed to open the stomach, stimulate the digestive fires, and help break down food, preventing indigestion and the stagnation of humors that could lead to illness. A healthy and efficient digestive system was considered fundamental to absorbing nutrients and maintaining overall vitality, directly linking ginger consumption to sustained health and consequently a longer life. The comforting warmth it provided after a meal was seen as a direct benefit to one's internal balance. Beyond its digestive prowess, ginger was also highly valued for its role in countering various ailments. It was widely used to alleviate nausea and motion sickness, a common affliction during long journeys by land or sea, for those suffering from aches and pains, particularly those attributed to cold or dampness. Ginger was sometimes used in poultices or infused oils. Its stimulant properties were also believed to invigorate the mind and body, making it a popular choice for those feeling lethargic or unwell. The perceived ability of ginger to stir the body's inherent strength made it a prime candidate for promoting a dynamic and enduring existence. Ginger's exotic origin and relatively high cost in some regions contributed to its status as a luxury spice, often found gracing the tables of the nobility and wealthy merchants. However, its medicinal reputation was so strong that even those of lesser means would strive to acquire it when illness struck. Recipes in medieval cookbooks, such as the Form of Curry from the court of King Richard II, frequently call for ginger in a variety of dishes, from savory meats and pottages to sweet desserts and drinks. Its versatility allowed it to be incorporated into diverse preparations, ensuring its widespread consumption among those who could afford it. Ginger was also an important ingredient in various medieval electuaries and medicinal compounds. Powdered ginger, often mixed with honey or other sweet substances, was used to create remedies for coughs, colds, and general debility. Apothecaries and monastic infirmaries would carefully prepare these compounds, relying on precise measurements and traditional knowledge, passed down through generations. The combination of ginger's warming properties with the soothing nature of honey or other herbs was believed to create powerful tonics that could restore health and vigor. These ginger-based concoctions were not just for acute illness. They were part of a preventative regimen designed to fortify the body against future sickness and thereby contribute to a more resilient and enduring life. The very sensation of ginger, its immediate warmth and spicy kick, might have contributed to the intuitive belief in its power to energize and fortify. It was a tangible experience of hotness entering the body, signaling its beneficial effects. In a world where direct observation often formed the basis of medical understanding, the noticeable physiological response to ginger reinforced its reputation as a potent life enhancer. The consistent and deliberate inclusion of ginger in medieval diets, particularly for those seeking to boost their internal warmth, aid digestion, and ward off the effects of cold and disease, speaks volumes about the enduring belief in its capacity to invigorate the body and extend the years of a healthy, active life.